You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Our friend Bill Connolly, who is a self-described nerd, seriously, look at his Twitter profile. He's a stat guy that was hired by ESPN to do creative content, like he does the SP Plus rankings and all that stuff that we talk about a lot. Bill Connolly looked at a dozen teams in college football that could dramatically improve defensively from year to year. And no surprise, one of the teams he mentioned was LSU, and he pointed out a lot of the things, right? This was a team that was 52nd in defensive SP+, 106th in defensive success rate allowed, 109th in points allowed per drive, basically illustrating how much was laid on the feet and the shoulders of Jaden Daniels last year because the defense was so bad. I mean, the number, and look, you can get all these analytical stuff, the number that stands out the most, like, you want to know what happened to LSU a year ago? Which, by the way, despite this, it's still stunning that they went 9-3, went to a bowl game, won, and got to 10 wins. LSU, in their 3 losses, all the good teams, right? Florida State, Ole Miss, Bama. They lost to 3 good teams. In their losses, LSU allowed 47.3 points per game in their losses. Chew on that. The Louisiana State University Fighting Tiger football team allowed an average of 47.3 points per game in their losses. Half 100. So the thing that I've said when talking about this LSU defense all offseason, and we'll continue to say up until they tee it up and kick it off in Vegas coming up on Labor Day weekend, is I don't need you to be awesome defensively. I just need you to not be the worst ever. I don't think LSU's offense is going to be the best offense in college football again. Tough to replicate that. You had the Heisman winner and 2 first-round draft picks at receiver. You're not going to be the best offense in college football. Oh, they're going to be plenty good. They're going to score a lot of points. But the defense just can't be the worst ever. So it was interesting looking at what Bill Connolly spelled out here. And I was looking at teams that we've seen make a similar, I guess it's fair to say a similar jump, but a jump where you've gone from being a liability defensively to being pretty good or really good even. And Texas a year ago was one of those teams. So Texas in 2022 was 54th in the country in total defense, which isn't awful, right? But it's also not what you've seen from championship caliber defenses. And Texas year to year, look, they added some transfers. Jalen Catalon was one of them from Arkansas. They had Sweat, the big defensive lineman. Texas went all the way up to 35 nationally in defense, which is really good. But the biggest turnaround in the last 3 years, was led by the guy that is going to try to be the architect of this LSU defensive turnaround, and that's LSU defense coordinator Blake Baker. When Blake Baker got to Missouri the year before, so 2021, Missouri was 106th in the country in total defense. Remember that number, 106. Missouri was 106 nationally in total defense. His first year, they went from 106 to 33rd. Last year, they were 34th. So they maintained it. The success wasn't a one-off. But he went from 106 to 33 in a blink. And I'm here to tell you, same conference that LSU plays in, and Missouri doesn't have a roster that looks like LSU's. I'm not sitting here telling you Blake Baker is going to make LSU the best defense in college football, top 10, top 20. Can Blake Baker get LSU in the top 50? Can you go, by the number I told you, Mizzou was 106 in the country in total defense the year before Blake Baker got there. It went from 106 to 33. Last year, LSU was 108. LSU was 108th in the country in total defense a year ago. So basically what you're saying to Blake Baker is, hey, You went to Missouri. They were 106 in the country in total defense, and in 1 year, you brought them from 106 to 33. In the SEC with lesser talent than you're going to have at LSU. Come to Baton Rouge where you have talent and resources and all the things you need, and take us from 108 to what's that ceiling? I don't know. Again, I'm not even saying I need him to be in the top 30 or top 33. I'm not even saying that. Can you get me top 50? Because Texas was a contender with the 54th best defense in the country. I just need you not to be awful. Can you go from 108 to 50th? Can you cut that number in half? Can you be 50% better? If so, then I think LSU can win every game on its schedule. I'm not telling you I'm predicting them to do that. I'm telling you, if so, they are capable of winning every game on their schedule. And the reality is, to get into the playoff, in a 12-team playoff, you don't need to win every game on your schedule. You need to win one more than you did last year. Because if you go 10-2 against this schedule, you're in the playoff. Now, are you playing a home game? Do you get a bye? All those things are up in the air based on how high you go in the pecking order of the playoff selection committee. Do you have to trap? Like, if you got to go play a first-round game on the road in Happy Valley in the snow, that sucks. That's a bad draw. If you get a first-round bye, or if Michigan is coming to Baton Rouge, dramatically different reality. So, and all you can get there with all that. But the reality is, you got to be one game better. And you were right there against Ole Miss. You had a 9-point lead at the end in the fourth quarter of that game. You had a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter, and you blew it. If you were one game better, you're in the playoff this year. Can Blake Baker get you there? That's the challenge. That's what they're right about there at ESPN. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.